Well, Republican presidential candidates, they are getting ready to square off Wednesday in their first debate of the primary season.
Not all of them. The biggest name in the GOP race says he won't be joining them in Milwaukee. Former President Donald Trump made the announcement on Truth Social. This, as we're learning, Trump will surrender to authorities in Georgia on Thursday. He and 18 co-defendants face charges of trying to overturn the 2020 election, as you know, in that state. His opponents spoke on his plan to skip the debates. Listen.
The good news is you're there and you'll be able to fire away with your vision and tell people in an unfiltered way why you'd do a good job as being the next president of the United States.
I have no problem with him skipping the first couple of debates. He's been on that debate stage plenty of times. He's been in the White House for 4 years. This is my chance to introduce myself to the country.
The former president is said to be counter-programming with an interview from former Fox host Tucker Carlson that will run during the debate. So we'll have to see how that plays out in terms of the number that watch that as opposed to the debate. So let's bring in CBS 13 political analyst Gary Dietrich. He has a big lead, obviously, if you listen to some polls or study up some polls, right? Is this just a question of he has nothing to lose by saying, I'm going to skip this one?
Well, that would sort of be politics 101, right? I mean, if you're in the lead, especially as much as he is, you just don't bother. You could stumble, something could happen. Why take the chance? However, what it does do, it gives his opponents the stage. I mean, if Trump would have been there, in my estimation, he would have been the focal point. Now, are some people going to tune into the Tucker Carlson interview? Maybe. But you know what? Really, DeSantis is going to take center stage now. He's the de facto second place guy, right? Expect to see a lot of barbs thrown at him, but it gives him really a clear shot. So I think that's why we've even heard some Trump people say they think he should be there on Wednesday.
Be interesting to see and to hear how all those candidates are going to be responding, because I imagine that's going to be it. Maybe not even just skipping this one, but all of them. I mean, how do candidates kind of adapt their strategy and their approach if he's just not there through this entire process?
Well, the next one's right here in California. Just 4 weeks later at the Reagan Library. There'll be a lot of people like that, the comparisons to Ronald Reagan. Trump, maybe not so much, who said he's the greatest president, even amongst the GOP voters in U.S. history. So I think this is going to be a really interesting cat and mouse game, back and forth. You know, if Trump feels like he can get an advantage, he'll jump in. But Tony and I were talking in the newsroom. You know, the national polls have him up 40%. But you look at an early state like Iowa, recent CBS poll just came out over the weekend, only 24% advantage over DeSantis. So I think there's going to be a lot of people really gunning for him in those two early states, hoping if they can notch a win, take him down substantially.
Could this backfire? Let's jump ahead to say he's the nominee and he's going up against Biden. Right. Could this backfire and Biden could say, you know what, I'm going to opt out too. And because people know me, when Trump would want to see and present himself side by side with Biden. So could this backfire?
Yeah. Well, Tony, that's a theory that's kind of been floated as we've been talking about here in the last couple of days. I think that's a danger for the former president, that is President Trump, because he really wants to draw Biden into the fray. There's no question about that. He wants a mano-a-mano contest that he thinks he's going to win this time around. And, of course, the accusation has been that actually Biden will be hiding in the basement, as he did, right, during COVID, when he did a lot of his work from there. So I think this could, in a sense, give cover if that becomes a Biden strategy.
We didn't even get to talk about the latest legal update with Trump turning himself
Friday.
in Friday and how that, I mean, the timing of it all.
Well, look forward to, for the first time, a mugshot of the former president.
Yeah.
He's avoided that so far. He is going to have to show up. They did cut a deal, the $200,000 bond. I don't think Trump really cares about that. But again, will he make hay out of it? So far, 4 sets of indictments, no effect on the GOP voter base.
Fascinating to watch.
We're going to have to give you the whole half hour next time.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that.
A lot to talk about. Thanks so much.